Benjamin Reese, cameras for the
I mean, awesome for uprising, but not so awesome for outseaters. Uprising. Frank and Bertram. Franklin is 1B. Uprising is 8. So they are the ones where some like cake or really like sweets? Okay.
And thank you for your patience while we sort out our audio here. I'm Stefan Rapazzo, soon to be joined by Benji Reese as he diligently mans the camera like the stallion he is. Transylvania Ultimate, that is right. Pick up. Okay. Let us know back at home if you can hear us. We hope you can. We think you can now. We've been working out some audios. It's been confirmed that you can. So happy to hear that as the Czech side East Block continues to get the job done against a new on the scene team, Transylvania Ultimate here, doing what they can on stream and having it tough to have to put it up against the champs from this event last year. East Block throws and that one goes away. And now Transylvania playing out of their own end. Vogel puts one up and somehow gets that into the hands of Friendly Fire. Transylvanians, I will say uniform choice, very interesting. The white on white for numbers on the back. And East Block with another chance. Hadova gets the disc and she calls the timeout right away. And that is the elder of the two sisters, Zomenica Hadova. And we're just about ready to get Benjamin Reese back, which is exciting news for myself, but more so for all you at home. And we're gonna wait for this timeout's over and we'll get him back and everything back in order by the time this timeout is said and done. We'll talk to you then. Thanks, and be back in just a flash.
Those who do not know their history can never relive it. The skies, the dives, the sideline smiles. Our past is held in photo albums, drinking stories. The present is a gift. And here at ULTI.TV, we want to make sure we always appreciate it, capturing the immortal moments of Ultimate from around the world and making sure everyone can enjoy them for free, forever. Because the future belongs to all of us.
Nabisco Electric, become a member.
We are back. I'm Stefan Rapazzo here with Benji Reese, live and direct from Vienna Spring Break. Benj, talk to the people.
Doing cameras really hard. I don't envy Felix or any of our ULTI crew who worked so hard.
Difficult work, that focus. Oh, great read, late adjustment to collect that one. The Czech squad moving ever closer. Lihochka with the pickup, now back to Hadova. Hadova, one of the shining stars from the junior team, puts that assist in. And speaking of juniors, there are a good handful of them out there speaking to Slusta before the match, talking about taking care of some of the young ones on the team.
She's one of the young ones.
She's
Not having
20.
this. Exactly.
So East Block here getting up by quite a margin. Benji, kind of the expectation. They are defending champs at this event from last year, taking on a team that is brand new to the scene at this level anyways, Transylvania Ultimate. What are your thoughts so far on the game? Is it going as to expectation?
Yeah, I think so. You look at the previous results coming into this. For TUF, they began, that's Transylvania Ultimate Frisbee, obviously. They began their day actually in the first time slot. They had a time slot change with Flying Angels Bird, who came here on the overnight sleeper train and got here a little bit late. So Transylvania lost 15-7 to Mantis, another Vienna club, in their opener. And then their second game, they went down 8-4 to MUC. For East Block, kind of also reading progress, 12-7. They beat MUC in the second time slot of the day, their first game. And then, yeah, a bit of a trouncing of Mantis, 15-5. So you look at the results so far and you'd expect East Block to win and win comfortably. But I think we've all seen enough Ultimate to know that the transitive property does not apply.
Right, indeed it doesn't. That said, 4-0 start does give you some indication of where the game may go, and another first throw turnover. Vasil throws it inbound off the hands and to the ground as Slusta picks up and gets it going for East Block.
Yeah, the wind is going to be a challenge for both sides. It's stronger now than it has been all day, and you feel like that actually might play into East Block's hands with this quick slicing, dicing, pinball style movement. Then there's no one better than that in the game than Christina Talista, who is so smooth with her transitions, you know, getting for throws and catching, releasing, all in that one fluid motion.
I classify her as the best at that.
Yeah, I fully agree. But, you know, I've been not just on the Christina Talista hype train, I've been driving that gosh damn thing for about 5 years now.
Oh yeah, there's no two ways about it. Benji Reese conducting that train, the Slusta fan club. As Transylvania gets it back right now, we're also going to want to know, where is Coach Yanni?
That's a good question. Where is Coach Yanni?
We will talk about that in just a bit, but a new coach for the East Block side, not here today as they pick up and go again. Is there a discussion about whether there was a foul on that backhand? Centering throw, Hadova. Slusta in the middle, Hrushak. Bounces it out to the far side, Hadova. Same thing, Hadova the older was playing at juniors last year. So this team has got an abundance of youth that are actually quite experienced for a youthful team. Slusta, nice leading throw, and look at her, available for the next one again. And Slusta is available for every next throw and gets every second or third, it seems.
That's exactly the style that East Block play with. It's so quick. We want to play fast, and the best way of enabling us to do that is keep players close, constantly bounce, change angles of attack, and as soon as they leave that little C, bang, off to the races.
Oh, and speaking of bang, that one bang off the fingers. A little bit of crossing defense caused some confusion. There's thinking about a foul, but I don't think there is, and I think they've made the right call there. A turnover generated, a lapse in concentration at the very last minute has given Transylvania the disc back. Gets a look at the gainer, didn't quite get the completion there. The look was for Vasil, and she ran out of field to work with towards that far sideline. The dumping around Proshakova. Now Shvetsova. And the spark plug, Kristina Tslusta. Gives nice backhand around, good shape to it. In the middle, Shvetsova. Vladikova back to Shvetsova and Slusta again. She changes her throwing grip very quick as well from backhand to forehand. Now the laser into the corner and East block put a 5th on the board. A show of patience on that last possession, a good use of the whole team. Of course, you get Slusta quarterbacking, taking charge of some of the pace of that, but really inclusion of every player there, Benji.
Yeah, there's a certain inevitability about it at times. You know what they're going to do. It's a question of can you stop it? And more often than not over the past couple of years, teams have really struggled to.
So, couldn't stop it there, could Transylvania. We're talking about the coaching bench. I know that Coach Valerio is not here. He's on a 5-tournament plan as far as being on site with them. This not ranking as one of those 5 tournaments. It will obviously be the 5 most important. I think the first time we'll see him with the team on site is at Elite Invite. But what do you think about the fit there?
I said this as soon as they announced it. Could not imagine a coach who fits what they want to do better, because he's all about the kind of the quick disc movement, about the changing angles, about kind of those motion hex style principles, spreading out and getting players their own space to work with, happily have players kind of flowing through and switching and being flexible in what they do. And if everything works like I think it should work, I think it can take their game to another level, which is a scary thought.
It is indeed. They're a team on the rise, but have not hit the summit yet, that's for sure. They are a step or 2 away, and they're certainly hoping that could be the step they're looking for, the change in coaching, as Transylvania put their first point on the board. And that is an exciting moment for them. Probably their first one on stream, definitely their first one on an ULTI.TV stream.
That's lovely. That was really good ultimate. Almost felt like they took a page out the East Block book a little bit there. And the idea is that we're going to keep it moving as well. We'll play these little short passes, maybe a couple of strides in front, but to be honest, they're not big lead passes. Generally, they're just finding those soft spots, and rather than kind of being constantly on the move, if they're free, they'll just sit there, wait for the kind of traffic to flow in their direction, get it, bounce it off. The stall count's never getting above 2, 3, and in this sort of weather where it's kind of windy, forcing your opponent to make as many throws as possible is not necessarily a bad idea, because the more throws you execute, the more chance there is if something goes wrong. It feels wrong, but in terms of probabilities, making your opponent make 199% throws is a better option than making them make one like 30% throw. Or, well, I can't remember which way around it works. But you continually make your opponent make as many passes as they can, especially in these conditions where the passes are not as sure as they would otherwise be. You can almost like worm and weasel teams out that way, but that time Transylvania did a good job with it, as that one tipped and batted, and it's a Transylvania disc.
A quick question to the chat. Somebody, Francesco, you said, let's go Jets. Is that the name of Transylvania team? Is that who you're cheering for, Francesco? Let us know. Tell us more. We're here to engage with you. As that throw goes a bit far, and Lepsi picks up, and East Block move the other way. Hladikova up the middle, Hrushakova. Oh, and you saw the head turning before the completion was completed. And now Transylvania gunning for it, but a little too much on that one. But don't mind the option. The dump, the open dump in the back was giving a little bit of bark after the fact, saying, hey, I was there. But the deep shot was open.
It's just tricky in these conditions, especially when the game plan has generally been to make the shorter passes. All of a sudden, you're being asked to fulfill a different role, and even if it's a role that you're normally tasked with fulfilling, just the fact that you haven't necessarily warmed it up as much in this game makes it a little bit trickier. But as we mentioned, you make your opponent, even an opponent with East Block's quality, make passes continually, and they will make little mistakes. We have seen it already. That's one they're potentially getting a little bit over-eager with it, trying to gain more ground because some of those errors have been sleeping in. And Transylvania, to their credit, picking it off and going deep themselves. And too deep, in fact, in the end.
Yeah, a little bit too much on that one. And yeah, they are missing by small enough margins. It's tough to stay dedicated to a, let's say, conservative throwing distance game plan when it's not working. And sometimes those deeps get very, very inviting. And they've gone for them twice there. I don't think, if I'm coaching this team, I don't know if I'm saying, okay, that should be our new plan, but I think the players should start to feel the liberty to be able to take them when they're, if they seem to avail themselves and they're playing from behind right from the get-go, as will be the case for the bulk of this weekend.
Yeah, I think you come to a tournament like this, especially with the small roster. They've only got 11 players this weekend, so already you're probably a bit more stretched than the majority of your opponents here. But you come to play high-level competition and to test yourselves, and you accept that, okay, in terms of the results, we're going to have to fight for everything here, but that's good. It will really test us against the best teams, and that will show us how and where we can improve, but also show them a little bit of what we're about as well. Yeah. Because it's certainly not been one-way traffic, although I must say this is racing towards the end zone from East Block.
Indeed, slow start. Shimmies and shakes and finds enough space to throw the assist there. Another one on the board for East Block. Make it 7-1 now, or has that score been added that quick?
I think that is 6-1.
We got a quick score operator.
Felix is good.
Felix
That's what he
the
does.
cat.
As the wind continues to blow around, it's getting stronger and stronger as the days goes on, which is slightly kind of chilling the the sun that is beaming down here. By the way, this is such an East Block score. If you kind of clipped up at the end of the tournament, like just the scoring passes of East Block, a majority of them would look something similar to like that, where if you look at just the pass, it's a couple of yards from the front of end zone to the front of the end zone. You're not really going too aggressively with it, and you look at it just in isolation and it feels like that's such a non-entity. Like, how are they continually scoring these 3-yard nothing passes which don't necessarily feel that damaging? But that's exactly what they're all about. It's getting the disc on the move quickly, and as a result, a lot of the scores don't look flashy, and that's exactly what they want, because it's not about the actual highlight in the pass itself. The highlight is the passage of play that's got you from one end zone to the other in the space of about a minute without ever making a pass longer than 10 yards.
Yeah, the inertia that comes with get the disc moving, keep the disc moving. It is self-propelling once it gets going, and the defense really is just spinning their heads trying to find what they can do to prevent the next pass. Transylvania get away with a nice reception on a floaty there. Vasil goes back to Vogel. High throw, and just a bit too much on that one. Coming from Stanka.
Yeah, I was looking for, I think Roto Panescu was the closest to cuddling that one up, but they're going to get a second opportunity.
Right back in the hands of Vasil. Prutien. And then to the far sideline. Ooh, low, but caught. Stanka. Over the head, leading throw was the hope, but the wind brought it all the way backwards, and Hadova gets going in the throw, respects the cut, but will it stay in? She does everything possible to make the catch and drop the toes down. I'm not sure, Benji, but she knew the side. She had field awareness.
It's tricky because we don't have an angle from where we are on this sideline. Goes up. I don't know, because you also have to look at where her foot was when she took off. You can certainly have an argument for a force out, but those of you who subscribe to the disc doesn't lie philosophy might say that, you know what, actually I think she probably was out, and the disc proves that. Obviously that's not how life or Frisbee works. I still think it was a really good attempt, even if it might not have actually been in, which I couldn't tell from first look. I'd have to kind of pour over it from the dreaded VAR point of view.
I'd want to look again. I'm not sure. I'm happy to say that's not how life works. That's karma, baby, but they do get it back. And a goal there for Melicharova, who looks like one of the other youngsters on the team.
They're all youngsters.
They are all youngsters.
But yes, there's a degree of youngsters. One of the things that the Czech Federation has done is they've had these really successful youth teams, and we've seen them not only do well at the youth levels, it's always a pleasure to watch them at any juniors event they're at, but they've also transitioned them into the senior setup really well as well. I remember Talista being at EUC in Jur in 2019, playing for the Czech women then, and for those of you who can do maths, I think she was 16. And I just remember Rachel Tashnerova just saying she's legit, she's the future, and
the future is now.
Yeah, generally, I think the key to being very smart is listening to smart people. So I took that advice on board, and she's just gone from strength to strength, and she's captured medals, gold medals as well for the Czech Republic at youth divisions, and they're bringing loads of other young players up along. And when you see that pathway through, from success at juniors, integrating into successful national teams on the senior side, plus you're doing well in the club division, it puts weight in what you're doing. It gives you that kudos behind it, and it draws people in along with you as well. And by the looks of it, Melicharova is another one who could be a name on the lips for years to come. Yeah,
also gets you noticed for selections for other big teams as she gets the run through there. Slusta, the more we talk about her, the better she plays. Gets a second touch at the goal line, spins around, the dump pass goes Hladíková. Bounces to the sideline. Hrušáková, and back through. Meters away now, and the throw does make it through. It's Slusta, collects the goal. Along with all the other accolades we've mentioned, Benji, another goal here at Vienna Spring Break.
Yeah, 8-1, that'll take us into half. And we mentioned, look at how East Block score goals. It's just a couple of yard passes, and it's because they're not thinking about them as scoring passes. At least, they might be, but in my head, they're not thinking about, oh, we're doing this because we want the score. We're doing this because it's in our rhythm, it's in our flow. And we trust that if we continue making these passes, we'll get in the end zone eventually, whether it's now or in a few passes' time. We'll just keep bouncing it back and forth. And then this time, it's just Talista just stays in that space. She doesn't really move, and she just waits for the traffic to go in that direction as they kind of push to follow the disc a little bit. And she sees the soft spot, and so does the thrower, and that makes it 8-1. And that's all.
8-1 scoreline, halftime. We'll take a very short break here and be back with second half action for you. Thanks for being with us on ULTI.TV.
That was called Electric. Become a member.
The ultimate things in life are free, and we're keeping it that way. Subscribe to keep up with the latest games, tournaments, and community content. Share it with your team and friends, and drop a like to help spread Ultimate to more people. Spread the word, spread the love. ULTI.TV.
And a very quick half brings us right back into the action. Transylvania Ultimate going, and that one gets away. And East Block race to pick it up.
And racing towards the deep shot.
Chova, yeah, a little over-ambitious bench.
A little bit. That reminds me of kind of the older generation of the Czech sides, especially on the women's sides, was they still have, you know, through the youth systems, they still love to play quickly. You don't really see them set up slowly and get a nice organised offense. They still always want to play quickly when they catch the other team in transition, flipping from offense to defense or vice versa. Good backup there. But whereas previously it was, can we pick it up quickly and get an instant deep strike? It's more now of this style. Let's pick it up quickly and just get the disc moving underneath.
And Hodachova, asks for a bid, gets it, but the hand can't quite stick the disc. And Transylvania, speaking of sticky hands, there's one by Vogel. Rotopanescu sends back and now centering to Stanka. Another unfortunate turnover there, and the Czechs will pick up. Hodachova goes back to Hadova. Hodachova, and leading throw was a little bit misaligned by Kopfova.
Tried to throw the sneaky one in there, but the tricky thing with that is that if you don't catch it the first attempt, you're never going to catch up with it because the edge is always taking it away and further away out of your grasp.
And generally that wind moving quicker than the legs. Another now super short field for East Block. A spin, and that one counts. Benji, an assist on the board for Hodachova, and a lead extender. 9-1 for the reigning champs here at Vienna Spring Break.
One of the things that this style of offense does is that they continually force the pace on you, and that means as an offense, even if it doesn't necessarily behoove your style, you always feel like you have to not play in exactly the same way, but it kind of pushes the tempo onto you as well, and you feel that you have to keep up to an extent. So you're picking it up a little bit quicker. You're, you know, trying to continually ping the ball around and keep the ball around. It's a disc, not a ball. I've been commentating on the wrong sport in the off-season. Moving the disc around quickly all the time, whereas sometimes, you know, that's not necessarily your offensive philosophy. Some teams, they like the big, clear isolations, you know, your side stacks, your slow pickups, and get something set up. But when you play as an opponent who is continually picking up and putting the disc into play quickly after turnovers on the pool, they never hang around. It puts that in your head as well, that you feel like you have to match that. And it's really tricky to kind of have the almost certainty in what you're doing to make sure that, no, we know who we are, let's not get sucked into what they want to do, because they're really good at what they do. And you might be really good at what you do, but if you're going to try and out East Block, you're probably going to have a tough time of it.
East blocked.
Yes.
The pull, not the most sensational of the day. Good starting position for Tasmania.
Tasmania?
Transylvania. Goodness gracious, thanks, bench.
In many ways, is Tasmania the Transylvania of Australia? Foul on the throw.
I'm not going to go that far. It's certainly not an island.
No, it's not at all. But I was trying to save you.
Thanks. So, Benj, I said it maybe when we first got our audio back, but the white numbers on the light gray shirts.
Yeah,
not my favorite choice.
Not for me.
I thought the shirts were on inside out when I first saw them.
Me too,
Frank. And then I was like, wait a minute, that flag is very bright. No, yeah, those are right way. Those shirts are on properly. And the wind up and the delivery, and it counts. Burnham sends the disc and gets away with one there. Another goal for Transylvania as they put their second on the board here against the champs.
you get into high schools, you've got the wind at your back, a little bit of air underneath it. We've seen both sides shoot deep, and normally in this direction it's been overshot because it's so easy to you just try and just put a little kiss on it, nothing too much, and just sit it out there on the wind. And in this wind, so often that just gets pushed further and further out the back of the end zone. But this time, well judged, took a little bit off, kept the revolution, kept the torque on the throw as well, so it would hold its line and hold its shape a little bit better. And Federzoni, I think it is, making the catch at the back of the end zone, puts TUF's second point on the board and their first point of this second half.
So TUF pulling up wind. A lot of them have been turning back the other way. This one does keep rolling in the right direction. Hadova. Offhand, backhand to put it to center.
That's such a key tool in the East Block toolbox.
Janska throws and it gets over the intended receiver. Now Hadova intercepts. East Block straight back to Hadova. Lihotska now on the goal line, and that happened very quickly. Lihotska got again Hadova right there in the end zone, and you look down to a roster for 1 second bench and you miss 2 throws with this East Block offensive attack.
Yeah, you finally pinpoint the player who has the disc in hand, and oh, they're miles away now, and the disc on the other side of the field. How did that happen? That's just what East Block do, and one of the things that we preach constantly on commentary when any team plays really is catch your Ds. And we always say, A, it's because you prevent a second effort grab by your opponent, and B, because you can do what East Block did here, and you've already got the disc in hand, and already the offense is moving, it's rocking and rolling, and then it's a simple pop-up from Lihotska into the end zone for the score. And I think that's Hadova.
It is indeed.
The elder of the two as well, who makes it 10-2. And again, clip up the East Block scores, and they seem very rudimentary, but it's because of all the work they do to get in those positions.
Spot on as usual, Benji.
I wouldn't go that far.
I would. That's why I've done it, and that's why I'll put my foot down on it. East Block pull. And you can get a better gauge for the wind as it has increased all day as these pulls having a tougher time to get to the halfway mark, and we're going to see a flat front here against. And it paid dividends, so you would have thought, but it bounces Transylvania friendly off the hands. The second throw deep does get gobbled up, but in less favorable position for East Block, but they do have possession coming out of their own end.
Yeah, Transylvania, you could say that they got some slice of fortune with that, but it comes from being heads up, and Rotopanescu was in the right place at the right time and was ready and waiting and made the catch. That front line's in very close, but East Block almost don't mind that, because if they can get past those front three, front four, they've just got so much space to run with.
Yeah, they have sent it back to Hadova, the younger. And if it remains in her hands, they do have a lot of upfield options to look at with not much defense in the way. Let's see if she will look back to what her original option was, which is Slusta, which is still never a bad option.
It is not.
Slusta. Find some space in the middle. Lepshi, Hadova, Slusta, and they are slicing and dicing through this Transylvanian zone. Vladikova. Back to Hadova. In the dump space. Slusta. And again. Ooh, and the throw, not enough on it, and goes to ground and immediately intercepted by Vladikova. Ooh, ooh, and they do get away with another one there. Hadova reads it well as it hangs. Slusta comes and gives an easy option. East Block. I must say this zone seems like a good option. Second turnover of the point for the 26 shirt, Christina Zlusta.
Yeah, what they did well, Transylvania, that time was they stopped the momentum at the back, and that forced Lister to look over the top, and in the wind it hangs and it gets the defender in the way, and that one was just out of reach of the fingertips.
Really, and here's the bigger problem is the just out of reach and then took about 10 steps thinking about what could have been, and now East Blocker had one less defender up until this point playing against them. Christina Zlusta in the middle. Pladikova. Now they shoot the other way and a bit too far in front. This point is extending.
Well, she was caught in two minds a little bit there about, do I go for it now or do and then the opportunity was lost.
A little discussion out there, bench. Turnover succumbed to by East Block.
Yeah, players must be fatiguing because although it's windy, it is still hot out there. You do not get any shade from the hot Austrian sun, and you know, third game of the day for these teams. Transylvania especially have got a shorter roster, and at the moment it seems like we back ourselves to play a bit of field position, and you know, we can get on the end of some of these deep discs.
Yeah, would you go as far as saying hot Austrian sun?
I would.
Yeah, that's
a good wootion.
Love it, bench. You always got my back. East Block. I'm still happy with this Transylvanian zone that it's stifling even this much. A team as prolific as East Block is incredible. And there, a disc from the other field comes on, and the defender picks it up and gets it away. And they still are having their difficulties beating this zone.
We mentioned, actually I don't know if everyone heard this at that point, but the fact that they're forcing so many passes, even if they're in isolation, high percentage passes, you force enough of them and eventually, well, just the probabilities of it makes it that the turnover will come. That's what you're playing for. Nice read from Lika.
And the put to end zone. Who's going to read this best? It is the Transylvania big celebration from Lika. Do a little dance, get those pink boots moving, and Transylvania with another goal, make it 3-10.
Yeah, we mentioned that they like their odds with the deep ball. This one, just trying to get some inside out on it to try and curl it back in towards the end zone. Lepschi gets caught too far underneath it, and it's a really good read, tracking that one towards the back of the end zone. Just trying to see who it was. I'll tell you in a second. Pushkarevska with the score.
Here's a pull.
Yeah, you can see what effect the wind was having on that one, because the slightest edge and the wind is determined to knife it quickly, and it rolls out of the sideline.
Right next to Felix.
Hey, Felix.
Wonder why Felix didn't film himself.
Cowardly.
Shot for goal! Gets away too far in front.
Yeah, I don't hate the look there from Lihodska. Lovely little offhand, backhand to squeeze it through that channel there by Janska. But yeah, the delivery too far out in front, but is forcing Transylvania to start from their own end zone line. And they've had a fair few short field turnovers this game, and that will be another one because Lihodska steals it right back.
Bounce it around, Zitova. Hadova. Oh, those are some honey hands. Nice pickup while losing balance, trying to catch up. Hadova gets it on the dump. Loved that catch. Janska. Offhand, backhand, there it is again. They love to use it, Benji, as you said. And another one on the board, 11-3 East Block.
A little bit of style about that score, as you mentioned, with that offhand, backhand. And after that excellent catch, it feels only right to reward Dvorakova with the score. Very good work there, snagging that low to the ground while you're kind of losing your balance and you're trying to think, okay, I need to catch this, but I also need to break my fall somewhat so that I don't hurt myself on the landing. That's really outstanding work, and just the presence of mind then. Got to keep the disc flat so that I don't ground strip myself. And we saw Janska go for the offhand backhand earlier in the point. She's thinking about it, do I? Yeah, go on then.
Go on and do it, Janska.
And more that becomes a tool in players' arsenal, not just, well, everywhere on the field, but especially in the red zone, where spaces are smaller. If you can just get a quick little offhand out, you know, if you can use the wind to your advantage, or if it's relatively still, you can put a bit of loft on that as well, and you can access that little soft spot there, right behind the mark. We've seen Krut do that really well, and the Dutch women with Anna Menardov and to Floor Kularts, and Janska displaying the same sort of skill there, finding Dvorakova for the score.
Whoop. And that one, again, seeing the power of this wind that has driven further ahead all week long, or all day long, all week long. Vogel brings it into play, bangs the disc, asking for a cut, gets one there. Pushkarevska, and now she gets it back. Vogel. High release backhand towards that front cone. Vasil. And the throw towards the goal gets uncorked and undone. And East Block again will get back on their horse.
It does feel like on offense, Transylvania are playing a little bit more of their own game now, and I think it's working for them. It's why they found a little bit more of a rhythm.
Slusta gets the first throw through. Mayerova. Slusta opens the arm and is caught. Pladikova. Oh, and the ensuing throw for the continuation can't get closed down on by Shvetsova, and Transylvania go again.
Yeah, the deep slot there stretched the field, but it wasn't, let's just huck it as far as we can. We'll put a bit of air under it to make sure that we've got at least a shot of bringing this down, but that is real swill there from Tlusta.
Yeah, not her finest moment, that one. Back in the middle. Pushkarevska hangs up a huge one, and you see the wind drag that 25 meters beyond the back line with the drag.
Yeah, it's tough to account for. You'd think, oh, the wind's at your back, so, you know, fine, put deep shots up, no problem. But it's difficult to measure them without them going and going and going and going and going and gone.
And gone.
And it's gone.
Right over the green monster back there.
I don't think it's quite the green monster.
I know, Bench. We're not at Fenway.
I'm glad.
Me too, I'd rather be here in Vienna.
Exactly.
They don't got schnitzels at Fenway.
Probably
they
not.
got some nice schnitzels around here, Benji.
Yeah, they do.
Wiener schnitzels.
Yeah.
East Block. Slusta. Sporting her Tokais. And that one bounces off the hand. And East Block, Mayerova maybe have had a lapse in concentration. Okay, like big up to Transylvania. Yeah, the wind is making things difficult, but maybe a 7-8 point lead is, you know, making them a little less concentrated as they move the disc.
I don't know if it's that necessarily, or if it's just, oh, excellent work there. How on earth did Lister come up with that? She was not even in the frame, really.
No, she wasn't at all. Came charging back towards. There's another one, a saving play, and the next throw gets away.
I think it's just fatigue because the points are taking a long time because of the wind and because the style East Block play. You know, when you're in a groove, it's effortless, it's efficient, but when you lose that rhythm a little bit, you know, those little errors, you look upfield too early, you get those tiny little, like the brain fades, the switches off that Transylvania, to their credit, have done a very good job of forcing.
This is one of the reasons why I am never over pursuing of subscribing to just one offensive strategy.
100%.
When things are not working out, you need to be able to change it out. In this case, maybe stretch the field. In this case, maybe isolate. In this case, maybe anything different to get it going, to play to the conditions a bit more.
So something I've always knocked certain teams and certain systems for in the past is you create system and you create scheme players, and yes, there's a real art to putting players in the best possible position to succeed, and you know, there's clearly so many advantages to knowing exactly what your job is at any one point. As we're just going to see East Block go off to the races again. I'll come back in a second.
Yeah, this time it looks like it's all good. Slusta puts it in, and another one that looks the same as the last few, Benj. But go on, continue where you were.
Is that the risk is, you know, if you train, here's the system, here's what we do, we're in this position, we do this, we're in this position, we do this. It's that eventually you will come up against a team that stops it, whether it's because they also play the system so they know what you're doing, whether it's because they've played a defense that you haven't trained against. Maybe it's like today where, you know, it's really windy, or you play a game where it's really wet and so you can't kind of cut and turn properly, you can't run your patterns. But if you're so drilled into what your system is, it's difficult to adapt and to change that. And I've been critical of certain coaching programs in the past where it feels like you're training people to run the system as best they can, which is great, but you're not necessarily teaching them to be great players, because the truly great players had that intuition, that ability to think for themselves and say, okay, this isn't working, we need to change this. But as well as recognizing we need to do something different, it's recognizing what do we do different, how do we change it, how do we put things in our favor. And if you're so wedded down to one system, then
you lose a bit of that potential adaptability.
Correct. And I appreciate that there is also an art to knowing actually things aren't going our way, but it's not because of the system. The system, if anything, is helping us. It's just that we're making mistakes or whatever, or we've got our mindset a little bit wrong. Sometimes even the best players, right, you just have an off game. Like, you'll see a player, the disc will come out of their hands wrong, or they'll keep falling over, or for whatever reason, it's just not their game. You know, the top players, it happens very rarely, but it does happen.
Indeed.
And
no one's perfect out there.
yeah, but there are times when you need to know, you know what, we really do trust in what we're doing, and there are other times when you say, we can trust in what we're doing all we want, but there's a better way around it.
Right, for today, for right now, for this particular moment. Another turnover there. East Block pickup. Short field right now. Vishkova, floaty one, and it goes off the wrists.
You can, every time there's the tiniest bit of air, every time you're leaning back in the release and you show the underside to the wind, it's anyone's game.
I mean, it goes without saying that flat, zippy throws are your safest option in these conditions. Anything that requires touch and float, you know, they're tended to be encouraged to be put away on days like today, on conditions like right now, as East Block do manage to bing bang boom their way back into the end zone and, you know, stick to their system right now. They're able to get away with it, and I think this whole conversation started because, yes, they can get away with it against Transylvania, no shade cast, but there are some other teams out there that in a similar kind of situation, similar condition, they may need to be a bit more adaptable to get back into a scoring rhythm.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
So, one more look at the score.
Hooter just went for 5 minutes. You can see it there on the screen, about 4 minutes left. So we're game to 14, or maybe if East Block can sneak another one in before then, game to 15. By the way, we have an update for you on what our next game is. Open quarterfinals start next round. And the quarterfinals are catch-up versus the Big Easy, so an all-Austrian matchup. 3SB versus Mosquitoes. MUC versus Fab. Mosquitoes, MUC, and Foy were in a three-way tie, and Foy came out the loser of that, so they're not in the quarterfinals.
Wow.
We are going to be streaming Frank N from, as you might have guessed, Frankfurt in Germany, up against Uprising from Poznan in Poland.
Exciting stuff happening. Quarters, brackets coming up. More action still on the field here as Transylvania continues to try and find their form against the reigning champs, East Block. The spin and drop pass. Pruitan. Now all the way over. Pushkarevska. And deep shot, a little bounce there, and goes the way of East Block as Slusta picks up and gets going. She gets again and gets going, but put to center.
Yeah, she tried to undercut it so she could intercept it. She actually slightly misjudged it, but did enough at least to disrupt the rhythm of the throw to prevent it being caught. And before you know it, they're already shooting towards the end zone and scoring.
Yeah, great throw there. It could have been a bit more direct, but that one did have enough touch on it that either of those two receivers could have adjusted to get their hands on it. Kristina Slusta, I would be remiss to not to mention that she's been selected to a pretty exceptional team for Windmill Benji. Have you heard?
About the word? I don't know. What have I heard?
Oh.
You need to fill me in.
Oh yeah, so I'll fill Benji. Kristina Slusta, if you haven't seen, go check out Tokai_Super on Instagram.
You know I don't use social media.
Huh?
You know I don't use social media.
I know you don't, Eddie. Me either, except most of the time. Except
I was going to say, I'm pretty sure that you do.
Except
man with his own YouTube show.
Yes, of course, go check that out too. Steph Pazzo Must Eat on the Steph Pazzo YouTube channel. But yes, Kristina Slusta selected to the super team. She's very excited to be playing with a group of international superstars, and even more excited to do interviews and media all on her own. She's a shining personality that loves the camera.
I mean, I think she's great, but I think by her own admission, she's a bit more of a reserved character, I think, especially when the cameras are around.
Yeah, she's in earshot right now, and I'm just making
You're
her
winding
cheeks
her up.
blush a
Yeah.
little bit.
Like any good coach captain would.
Yeah, she is a little bit timid like that, but she is certainly accepting the spotlight a bit more, and I think she realizes that the more she plays the way she does, she's gonna have to get used to it, because she's drawing a lot of attention by the way she continues to succeed. East Block now on the doorstep. High release and nice throw, nice catch. Janska on the reception, but the throw, Lihochka, nice little pop pass, backhand there, short distance, and that wraps things up, Bench.
It does, and it felt like 5 minutes ago we were saying, oh, East Blocks, they've kind of lost their rhythm, they've lost their way, and then the last 3 points, bang, 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 in they go, and there's such quality there that when they click, they really do race away from you in a hurry, both literally and metaphorically, because the speed at which they move downfield with those constant incisive passes slicing their way through, that points happen quickly, and they were able to get it in before the 70-minute timer in the end.
And the 70-minute timer does go off. It is very loud and jarring, that
It is a bit.
announcement. It kind of scares me every time.
Yeah, it takes two to tango. Full credit to Transylvania Ultimate as well. First time seeing them on stream, and obviously you'd like to play closer than this. But they definitely had some moments. I think, especially in the second half, there was a period where they felt like they had their own game figured out a little bit better, and they certainly put pressure on. You know, they got a couple of scores in quick succession, and they had the disc kind of advancing into their own end zone a lot more of the time. But towards the end of the game, East Block kind of felt like, okay, let's finish this game out properly, full commitment, and put down a little bit of momentum going into going into their quarterfinal, I should say.
Yeah, I think it is just great that they made it to this tournament. It's great. This is experience for them as players, for them to bring back to their team and their club when they go back to Romania. Lots to grow on. I think the biggest improvement I'd like to see them make is uniform choice and get those numbers a little bit darker.
I mean,
but otherwise, you gave them a bunch of credits. I'll also say their zone was very good looking for moments in that game. There are a lot of bright spots for them to hold their heads high about. And I really do look forward and hope that we get the chance to see more and more of them on the European scene.
Me too.
That is going to do it for the group stages of Vienna Spring Break, but not for the action at Vienna Spring Break. As mentioned, we're going into the quarterfinals, open quarter coming up next. Here on ULTI.TV, you are going to see Uprising going against Franken. Make sure you're locked on. Thanks for being with us. For Benji Reese, I'm Stefan Rapazzo, and we'll catch you next time.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks.
Merci beaucoup.
Yeah, Milan. I mean, Ultimate.
ULTI.TV.